Hello, friends, and welcome to Too Hot for Love.
We are a recap and react podcast to any reality dating show out there right now. And out there is MILF Manor Season 2.
We are today recapping Season 2, Episode 9 for you. There are only 3 episodes after this left of the season, and things are getting incredibly heated.
I don't know how they're going to do all of it in 3 episodes.
We have so much to tell you about. There is fighting. There is kissing. There are feet, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Well, for the best couple, for sure.
Yeah.
Who deserve feet stuff.
Yeah,
they
sure.
like feet. That's all I'm saying.
They deserve whatever they want at this time, currently, right now, in this current moment. Anyways, if you enjoy these recaps that we've been doing, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of them. We have the new channel, Pixel Pop Culture. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up over there, where this show is going to live forever now. And if you're on podcast platforms, be sure to give it the positive one.
Thanks. I'm Kendelle Lynn.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
To understand what we're saying, just listen to the episode, please.
Roll the intro.
Roll it.
So, kicking off episode 9, we kind of pick up on the steam room, but not the steam room actually happening. People just talking about the steam room. Last time, we had the steam room happening with Rebecca, David, and Connor.
There's not much to say about the steam room because they just sat in there and sat in steam, and he closed the door on the cameras because the steam was letting out.
Right.
And I felt like last episode they tried to make it a big deal.
Yeah.
Like the steam room. And then even this episode they try to make it a big deal.
Kelly specifically tries to make it a big deal, and David is like, there was steam. The steam room was us enjoying a steam room. And he's like saying it so straightforward, and you have Kelly,
Disco Mommy,
Christina, sitting with, I think, just David at this point. David is the uncle. And you have the two of them being like, oh, he's being so coy about it. Oh, okay, the steam room. And he's literally just being like, no, what I'm saying is that there was a steam room and we enjoyed steam in the steam room. And they're like, but steam could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
And he's like, not really. I mean steam. He's being like so dead ass serious about it. And like, I mean, literally it was just a steam room. And they're like, oh, okay.
Sure.
Because I think Kelly, like, I don't know. Kelly just like needed it to be something for her to be upset about. You know what I mean? Like the two of them are obviously both interested. They've had some kind of connection going on from a date with David and Connor, respectively. And she's like, it's like she needs to know, but she doesn't want to ask straight up. Nobody wants to be that type of vulnerable in this situation where they're like, hey, I really like you. I just want to know, like, is something happening between you and Rebecca? And instead of that being like, so what happened? And like, I mean, I'm cool. So I'm asking in like a fun, playful way. And it's like, no, you want to know.
Just ask.
Just ask. And you can tell David is like not having it and doesn't care about this interaction at all. I also think it's very interesting. This show really does, like, I mean, it fast tracks things in a way where people will have been on one date, you know? And then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's my man. And it's like, whoa!
Since when?
And also you have 2 other men.
Yes.
Which is fine. You can have as many men as you want.
If you don't say you're official and you're just testing the waters, it's okay to date multiple people.
Yeah.
Anthony.
You know when it's not okay is actually what we're going to get to next. Anthony is kind of also picking up where we left off last episode, where he had betrayed Lynette and taken an interest in Rebecca. Anthony says, you know, dating women in front of the other women that you're dating, it's just really hard for me.
You don't have to do that, Anthony.
Then don't.
It's like, you could have if you set expectations.
Like, it's hard for you? Don't do it. You're not enjoying it? Don't do it.
If you went the route of, I'm exploring my options, I'm like going on dates with you, I'm going to go on dates with her, and I just like want to respect everyone and make sure we're all cool with that.
Yeah.
Instead, you decided to like make this weird situation between you and 2 women as if like you're with someone else. But like, don't worry, I'm still into you, but I'm also I'm still into you. But like you didn't have to do any of that.
He's playing it so hard. I want to let you know right now at the top of the episode that I am going to be such a hater this episode. I am going to tear Anthony to shreds for the rest of this episode as he deserves. If Anthony has a million haters, I am one of them. If Anthony has one hater, it is me. If Anthony has no haters, I am dead. That's it. Because
copy paste.
That's it. Because good Lord, this episode just continues the monstrous behavior.
Yeah.
Of once our fave.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's because we liked him.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you.
We really were.
We're all rooting for you.
Dude, we felt betrayed.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like, oh, we feel betrayed for the woman on the show. No, it's
us personally feel betrayed by it. But there is so much happening this episode. It is not a challenge episode, but it is a big date episode. And there's just a lot of in-house drama. And I think that they kind of created their own challenge a little bit this episode. It wasn't a formal one, but simultaneously we have two things going on in the house right now. We have a date beginning, which was one last episode between Chris and Barbie. They are heading out to go grape squashing like we saw in the preview.
Which is fun.
A little featsy date.
They went to a real place.
A real location that seems to be not at the manor.
And on the other hand, in the house, everyone is playing Don't Drop the Tower, which is just Truth or Dare Jenga.
They couldn't say Jenga. It was Truth or Dare, Don't Drop the Tower, which is so funny. I get it. As somebody who has off-brand Jenga for shoots, I get it. We have to have it for other games, but it's definitely just Truth or Dare Jenga. However, they are 100% playing it wrong.
Yes.
Which, like, look, it's a made-up game. It's a made-up game. But
house rules.
Typically, you pull a thing, and if it's Dare, you have to do Dare. And that's kind of the fun of the Jenga tower, as opposed to just playing Truth or Dare. As opposed to getting to choose, you pull a thing, and you get what you get. That's typically always how I've seen it played. But in this one, if you pull a Dare, you get to give it to someone else.
Yeah, you have to dare someone else.
Yeah.
If you pull a truth, you get to do a truth to someone else.
Yeah, you get to ask them a truth.
You know, technically there's a third thing happening. It's Kelly Mack and Darren off on their own. They're not playing Truth or Dare, Don't Drop the Tower.
They're just cuddling.
They're cuddling.
They're just cuddled up, being
love
really
them.
sweet. It's adorable. It's a really cute scene. They're talking a little bit about this, about how Kelly is saying, like, look, I just came here for this. I'm not interested in the rest of this stuff. She basically has the, like, I'm too old for this in, like, the most positive way, where she's just like, I don't need to be in there playing, like, sexy Truth or Dare with a bunch of people in the house. I came here to find my person, and I have. And it's so sweet. And you can see Darren a little bit, maybe having a little FOMO of what was going on in the house, I feel like. He was like, I mean, sometimes I'll want to participate, but, like, if you're worried that that's what I want, you don't have to worry about that.
Which I love Darren for actually, like, saying that out loud. And, like, oh, there's just something about, like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to, like, hang out with them. I'm always going to be with you, baby. But instead, he was like, if that's, like, a concern of yours, like, you don't have to be. Like, I love being with you. I'll hang out with them sometimes. Like, I don't know. It felt so adult.
It did.
Compared to everything else
God,
happening
the bar
on the
so
show.
low. Him being like, I don't need to be making out with people in Truth or Dare. I like hanging out with you. And us being like, oh.
I want to go to their wedding.
Right? God, the bar is low, but we'll take it.
Yeah, but, like, he was doing that in between forehead kisses.
Oh, it was cute. It was cute. I'm with you. It was cute. Now, this Truth or Dare Jenga game is so messy.
Oh, my gosh.
And everybody is absolutely drinking tonight.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. There's, like, I feel like there's no drinking reality show regulations in Canada or something.
I guess, because this is the most drunk episode of a reality show I've seen in some time. Now, we do know that they also got sloppy drunk towards the beginning of the season when that fight broke out.
Yes.
So, it definitely...
I kind of understood that because they're at a bar.
Right.
And that felt like, oh, because they're at the bar, we expect someone to be, like, a little tipsy, a little drunk. But they're at the house.
For those who don't keep up with reality shows in general, this used to be the standard. People were absolutely smashed all the time on reality shows. And then new regulations came into place, at least in the US for shooting. And I think it's kind of separated network by network. Like Netflix has been really particular to like not allow people to drink a lot.
Yes.
And that's part of why they have the like opaque cups on something like Love is Blind. Because there have been so many instances of terrible things happening two people while they were too drunk on a reality show. If you have a bunch of people on a dating show in particular, consent gets messy. You really don't want to mess with that. So you don't want people drunk in these scenarios. We also know from people that have reported being on these shows that they're never eating enough.
Yes.
Like, it's just never happening because of all the stuff that's going on in the schedule.
Eating happens on a certain time, and sometimes that time is really short, and you have to go do other things, so they just don't eat.
Distracted by things, so people aren't consuming enough food to be drinking that much. And this show does not seem to have the same kind of restrictions that the shows we're used to watching have on alcohol, because these people are sloshed through this episode.
They're slurring their words. They're kind of like stumbling. It was really surprising to see, for sure. Like, their eyes are like, there's
quite a few scenes of that we'll get to that are like, are they okay?
Someone
like,
put them
they're
to
very
bed.
Drunk, right? Somebody literally just put these girls to bed. But they're not that drunk yet when they start Truth or Dare. So the first one I wrote down here was Christina daring Connor to, and I swear to God, this is how it was said, French kiss Kelly.
Kelly Disco Mommy, by the way. Remember, Kelly Max is with Darren. Everyone was so excited. Because you know when you dare something like that, everyone's like, ooh. And Connor's like, absolutely. And you know, Kelly was like, oh, yes.
Now, Christina is clearly doing this because she is tight. Her and Kelly have gotten like this. They've gotten very, very close, and she's trying to like make it happen for them.
Be a little Cupid.
Right. Earlier in the episode, we didn't even like really read this off just because we're getting to Connor and David. Connor and David in an interview was like, yeah, me and my nephew are always attracted to the same women. And they were referring to Rebecca and about how they have interesting different women in the house. And I just thought that was such a gross thing, and I wanted to call that out.
Yeah.
But Connor is all in. And David yells, "Way to go, nephew!"
Disgusting. Like, as they're like tongue deep in each other's mouths.
And they are absolutely tonguing it down.
Like, their tongue is in each other's throats.
Yes.
And he's like, real loud, way to go, nephew.
Ew, ew, ew,
like,
ew, ew, ew,
you cannot miss that line.
How do you hear a family member's voice while you're making out with somebody?
Oh my gosh, I cannot.
Oh my God.
But I guess they're the exception because they always go clubbing together. They always like the same woman. They fall into different love triangles together, as they said.
Hey, David, that's weird. David, you're weird. And I'm not even going to blame Connor for this. Like, Connor is at an age now where now he should know it was weird, but he has been...
It started early?
Exactly. Like, this is on his uncle.
Yes.
To have not established this as a normal thing for you all to do. And I want to know, where are Connor's parents?
I'm all for taking your like niece or nephew to like their first bar experience or something, because you just like, you want to make sure they're safe, that they're having a good time.
Yes.
You want to be like that experienced person. You know what I mean?
We'd rather you do it at home kind of thing. Of like, I want to be able to look out for you if your nephew calls you because he's at a thing and he's drunk and he needs a ride home. Yes, be there. Love that.
This is so different.
This is them going out on the prowl.
No, yes. I'm sure they get like matching tuxes and stuff. They probably wear matching shoes, matching watches, and they're like, oh, you guys are like, oh, hey, ladies, let me introduce you to my uncle. You know, like they probably wingman for each other.
I can't press this enough that if a man came up to me with his uncle at a bar, I would have to stop going to that bar. I would be like, it appears that I have found the wrong location. Yeah. Like if I thought this place was a good idea and so did you, I have to reevaluate. I have to reevaluate if we picked out the same place. I have to go forever. Absolutely not. Now, do put a pin, though, in Christina, in this kiss right here between Kelly and Connor, because it's going to come back up unnecessarily in the weirdest way. It really is.
It really does.
We keep going back and forth between that and the conversation between Kelly and Darren. I have a note here that's, is Kelly falling asleep? And she totally is.
Oh, she's so tired.
And like, he keeps like kissing her forehead and like holding her close while she's falling asleep.
It's so precious.
Can't believe there's something cute going on this show.
It's
I can't.
I want to go to their wedding, please.
Hey.
We're each other's plus ones, but you don't need to bring anyone.
Darren. We know that you watch the show. I don't know if Kelly watches or listens at all. I know that you've checked out the show and we thank you. If a wedding is the direction this is heading, a little rhyme for you, please invite us. We would like to come. Just saying.
Yeah.
I know you can't give any spoilers, but just throwing it out there. If it comes up, keep us in mind.
Just do the side eye emojis in the comments. In anyone's post, anywhere. We will see it. That's all we need.
That's all we need. That's all we need. Super adorable. We love it. Back to Jenga Truth or Dare. Not adorable. Don't love it. Who dared Shauna and Rebecca to kiss Joey?
It was David. So David was next, and David was like, "Ooh, I got a dare." And in front of him is sitting Joey. On the sides of Joey are the two new women, Shauna and Rebecca. And he goes, "I want you to slobber on Joey's ears, two new ladies."
Yeah, he was like, "I dare you both to kiss Joey." And then was like, "No, like at the same time. Like get on either side of him."
Rebecca goes first.
And he goes in.
She goes in. And then he's like, "No, at the same time."
And it's weird. It's weird. Everything he does is weird. Yeah. I don't trust this guy. I don't like him.
I don't like him either. It's like really weird. Anyway, Joey was having a great time with that.
Unsurprisingly. Who wouldn't? Yeah. However, his face, Kendelle pointed out, that was like, this is a brand new experience.
To me, it felt like it looked like that Joey's face just looked like it was such a brand new experience that he's like, wow, this is crazy. This is amazing. I can't believe this is happening. Like, I thought you slept with 35 women. What happened?
No one's ever.
What happened?
A little tongue in your ear. It is weird to have them on both sides of it, and at some point it does look like he's being tickled.
Oh my God, I'm pretty sure he was, because if his butt is tickled that easily, I think his ears and neck are 100%
yeah, he's just
easily
a ticklish
tickled.
guy.
100%.
Now, this is all happening. Mind you, I can't imagine any of this happening in front of a group of people in general, but especially in front of your father who's sitting across from you. And one of the women who is just going ham on his ear is the woman that his dad is dating. It's
weird.
Rebecca. Now, this isn't Rebecca's fault because Rebecca isn't really dating Anthony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rebecca's just getting to know people, but Anthony is like pursuing Rebecca.
Yes.
And it's his son. You know what I mean? So it's like, for Rebecca, that's not weird because she's not related to them. But I could never imagine watching somebody go to town on my son's ear, like making out. Like it's a very sexual experience
for
they're
sure.
having there. And
even
then,
with all the laughs and giggles.
Oh my God.
It's rooted in that.
How do you ever engage with that again?
I don't know. Well, I like, it was a cute moment of like Lynette and like covering Anthony's eyes, being like, you don't have to look at that, and Anthony himself not wanting to look. But like,
it's this thing that Lynette does, and it's not, attacked by bug.
Yeah.
It's this thing that Lynette does, and it's not her fault, but she keeps stepping into the partner role for Anthony. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Of like this like caretaker and this like you can tell is somebody who has done these like long-term relationships because she defaults into the patterns of being a partner to somebody.
Yes.
And that's not a fault. Like that's not a wrong thing that she's doing in any way. It's just that he doesn't deserve it. That's it. You know what I mean? Like the way that she sits next to him by default. And part of that is probably her trying to also prove it, like to herself, to everyone. There's so much going on. But like she does act like she's his girlfriend and he does not act like he is her boyfriend.
Well, he did before Rebecca came.
Correct. Now.
That's the issue.
Yeah. I don't get it. Anthony also, when he sees this in his confessional, is like, yeah, I mean, Joey and I back home, we go on dates together all the time. Like, that's super normal. But this might be, like, the line.
What do you mean?
All the time.
What do you mean you go on dates all the time?
I don't understand what these dynamics are. How does that come up?
I don't know.
Can you imagine?
I understand if, like, let's just say Joey has a girlfriend.
Yes.
And Anthony has a girlfriend. They're like, hey, we're going to grab dinner. Would you like...
So normal.
That's like...
But you know that's not it. You know it's unfortunately first dates.
I hope
That's the thing
not.
is I'm picturing first dates.
When you say it like that, we go on dates all the time. You do picture first dates.
Right. It's not like, oh, yeah, like when I have a girlfriend, he comes out with us and whatever. That's normal.
Different.
But you know it's not normal is the thing.
It's not.
You can think of the normal thing and you have to know that's not what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
If it's normal, it's not it.
Like, he could have said we grab dinner with our girlfriends all the time. That, like, you know, but...
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. My mind did immediately jump to first dates.
I picture it more like Connor and David.
Yes, me too. And when he saes it like that, you think they're picking up women together and going on dates together. It's weird.
No, thank you. But God, that's the show we're watching, isn't it?
It really is. Truly. It really is. Up next in Truth or Dare, Don't Drop the Tower. is Stacy. Stacy, oh my gosh, Stacy, I don't know if you understand what a truth or a dare is, but I think you tried to take the opportunity. You hoped for a dare.
Yes.
But you grabbed the truth and you're like, Shauna, how would you feel about going out in the backyard and having a glass of wine with me? That's not a truth.
Because it also, he wasn't saying it in a way of like, is that something? Because you could be like, would you be interested in that? And you're like kind of doing a truth. But literally he was like actually actively asking her, like right now.
Yes. He was like, how do I make this into a truth? And he just couldn't do it.
He just
asked the question.
Didn't. Instead, he was just like, do you want to go, have a glass of wine with me? And everybody's like, what?
And Crystal's right there too in the same table, sitting there.
Crystal is obviously devastated, furious, all of the above. But you know what? We get a confessional, and we're not hearing a ton from Shauna. Honestly, Shauna's really quiet.
Yes.
She's not like somebody who's really like out there. But we get a confessional where she's like, I have no idea what's going on with Stacy and Crystal, but I'm definitely picking up on something there, and I don't know if that's something I want to get involved with because there's just no clarity.
Yes.
And she turns him down.
Yes.
Girl behavior. And she didn't have to.
She didn't have to.
She didn't have to, but it was girl behavior. It did give that vibe, at least, of her being like, ooh, maybe it's even just her being like, this is messy and I don't want to get involved.
Which is also fine.
But I also think girl behavior can be recognizing where, like, if he would do this to you, he would do it to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where even if it's not about Crystal, it is recognizing that the man might be the problem in the situation. And it's like, maybe it's not even that she's like, oh, I don't want to take this from Crystal or whatever. But instead it being like, if he's being sketchy with you, why would I be interested in him?
Yes. I mean, everyone, even like in their mini confessionals, everyone was talking about how the vibes of the room literally changed because of like what Stacy asked with Crystal in the room and Shauna not interested. It's like, oh, this is, I don't know. It's feeling like daggers are like moving all over the place.
Stacy noticed it, but just doesn't seem to care.
He's
like,
care.
oh yeah, Crystal was really upset.
He doesn't care.
But like nothing, he never says how that impacts him or that he cares in any way. It's just like, and I noticed she was upset, and you're like, cool, what are you gonna do anything? Or do you have any feelings about that? No? Okay, whatever. We do get also from Shauna her saying that she's still interested in exploring something with Joey.
Yes.
I was shocked.
I don't know if that was an excuse to turning down Stacy or if she's genuinely interested in Joey because of how respectful he was in the body paint challenge.
I just don't see anything happening between them.
Yeah, but I still think if I saw two people just rolling on the ground going at it, I would be like, wow, I'm having a really good date. I do like Joey. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yes.
She definitely didn't want to go out with Stacy.
No.
Stacy was so surprised he got rejected.
He really
He didn't think for a second.
Oh my gosh. It's
This
because
dude.
he had a great time talking to her the other episode, like laughing and giggling.
Yeah.
In his mind, he was like, this is
I'm in.
amazing conversation.
Yeah.
She's having also an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry. You dug your own grave by just
Yes.
making things a little too awkward with a different woman in the house.
Truly, one of the things that I notice a lot in men is that they don't notice if the other person is having a good time. And I hear this so much.
Yes.
You hear this so much from women of being like, oh, it was such a bad date. And the man had no idea it was a bad date because they aren't paying attention if the other person is having a good time. It's just like a thing that comes up all the time.
Yes.
Of like, and he would have had no idea if you were having a bad time because men are just like, yeah, I nailed that. Yeah, I did great. And that's like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a little bit of what happened there. They might have had a perfectly nice conversation, but by the shock on his face that like she didn't want to go talk to me and like she rejected you in front of everyone. That was such an ego check for him.
Yes, it really was.
Good. He did need it.
And Crystal was literally laughing.
Yeah.
She was laughing.
She was.
I like Sam sitting next to Crystal. Like they were
They're
obviously
laughing with
whispering.
him?
Yeah. Like they were
Yeah.
whispering together being like, how embarrassing.
yeah,
But
kind of cute.
The only thing that would have made this 10 times better for me is if Shauna went, truthfully, no. Because it was a truth.
Right,
you know?
not the actual truth.
I thought that would have been so good.
Do you think anything could happen between Sam and Crystal?
Oh, I
don't get that vibe.
I think they probably have like a really like mother-son best friend vibe
I
because
think
of
they
how
do.
they were giggling to each
You
other.
know, it's interesting. Sam in this episode kind of takes on the role of like a little bit of a like gossip narrator.
yes.
Honestly, okay, so I noticed this happen a lot on reality shows. You know, on Too Hot to Handle, at the point in the season where somebody realizes I'm not making a connection with anybody. I'm going to be the enforcer of making sure we earn the money.
Yes.
Right? I feel like Sam has lost his connection with Christina. Christina has definitely seemingly moved on to her connection with David, though David doesn't seem to be sure about her either. But it doesn't really seem like anything is really going on right now between Sam and Christina. And so he's just kind of being a little yenta in all of his confessionals. And he's like the person that's like, okay, so this is what's happening. This is what's went down. This is what's going on. And it's the most I've enjoyed Sam on the show so far.
I think he's a great storyteller, to be honest.
Yeah.
He like says the points straight to the point, but he also has like a little flair of opinion in there.
And he looks like he's having a little bit of fun with it.
He's totally having
Honestly,
fun.
Truly, my best opinion of Sam so far
Yeah.
was him just being a little gossip in his confessionals. Kind of cute. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad he no longer has like a love interest that we're seeing, at least.
I know.
But
so there's only 3 episodes left.
yes.
Which is very interesting with where everything is at right now. It feels like we need so much. Simultaneously, this is a very long season.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how we finish this in 3 episodes.
I don't know either.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be over and it feels so weird, but here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I have Kelly's dare next.
It's true. That's true.
So this is Disco Mommy Kelly. She gets a dare, and she dares Connor. And I'm going to have to bleep this when I say it. We see it in the preview first, and we were like, no way she said that. And then we see it for real. And she looks at Connor, and she goes, I dare you to fuck me like you want me.
So they bleep that, but they also don't blur her mouth.
Yeah. So we were like leaning in to be like, is that what she's saying?
That's literally
there's no way.
That's an F. She said an F.
100%.
Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I thought maybe she said hump me like you want me.
Yeah.
She definitely didn't say hump.
No, that was 100% what she said, because you could also tell by everyone's reactions.
Yes.
Everyone at the table like at her.
And I think Lynette was like, right here?
In
right
front
now?
of us? In front of us?
Yeah, and she goes, no, with the clothes on, yeah. So
here's the thing. I think she said it like that because if he was like, okay, let's go, they were heading to the real fee.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
She was down. And then she was like,
Absolutely.
oh, just like dry hump me. Come on. There's such a gross energy to somebody having to be like, come on, just hump me.
Hump me in front of all these people and these camera crew.
And that's so her vibe at this point in the season.
Yeah,
Kelly,
she was like that last season.
It's true.
She was like, come on, let's go to the room.
You're so right. Disco Mommy has officially become, of the MILFs, the villain for me. And
Yes.
I'm giving up. I'm giving up on her this episode. We try so hard to give so much grace to all women on here.
So hard.
And I officially give up on Disco Mommy.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. What if Disco Mommy, Kelly, and Christina are such good friends because they're not the horniest, but the horniest?
Yeah.
You know?
Here's the thing. They're horny, and her and Christina are pretty mean.
They are mean.
They're doing mean girl shit.
They think they're girls.
They are being mean, and we'll get to it in a little bit. But,
Yeah.
we also know Kelly did some messed up stuff last season, including some racist behavior we're not going to forget. So, with that in mind, we honestly gave her a fair chance this season.
We really did.
We gave her a fair chance this season, and she was like, no, back and worse than ever.
Anyway, Connor says no.
He does. He literally does, and I'm so glad. So we've got like back-to-back rejections, which is awesome.
Insane.
He goes, that's for private.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something I want to do in front of people.
Which I think is a good like response to say in front of like a camera crew and people instead of just saying, hey, I don't want to fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, gotta bleep that too.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I don't know.
He looks
like,
kind of grossed out by it, honestly.
Yeah.
And he says that like it's really unattractive of her to be like territorial like that, because it is clear that like after kind of this, she's trying to really manufacture something.
Yes.
It was very clear, and I also think it's so like, it's kind of cringe that like your best friend is like, oh, I dare you guys to kiss, and then you're like, I dare you to do this, and it's like just the forcing of it is like, hey, you're not gonna like push me into sleeping with you in a game of truth or dare, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she doesn't realize how embarrassing she's being. You know what I mean? There's this like desperation in it that is like really embarrassing that if it had worked, sure. But because it isn't, it's very embarrassing. And you have Connor being like, no.
Yeah.
And looking kind of weirded out and uncomfortable. And it's like the same thing too, where it's like, hey, if any of these men had gotten up and said that, we would also all be like,
what the?
That's disgusting. You're being a weirdo.
That's creepy.
Right. And I think that with like, because he is part of this younger generation, he's like, ew, what are you talking about?
Absolutely.
That's so weird of you. And like pushy.
Yeah.
We don't do pushy with sex things.
Your girl, Christina, already did you a favor.
Yeah.
You didn't need to like push the limit.
Yeah.
And then like go 100 times like further than
and now
that.
you've made it so clear that Christina was doing that for you.
Yes.
And not like it's a fun
so
thing,
fun.
whatever. It was not cute. It wasn't good. And she looks furious.
Yeah, like, oh, my plan of having this guy dry hump me on the table didn't work.
A drum hump is so
I'm sorry. I can't talk today.
But it's like, I want to keep that term. I just loved it. I really am just attached to it. She wanted him to drum hump her.
Because they're all kind of drunk. I think that's where my mind was
that's
going.
Good. I like it. I genuinely like it so much. So after that rejection, we continue with it being a little bit spicy.
Yes.
Lynette, everybody's playing games in this.
Yes.
Everybody thinks they're playing 4D chess here.
Yeah.
Lynette dares Rebecca to give Connor a lap dance. So checking in with the relationships here, right? Okay. You've got Connor, who currently has interest in Rebecca, has been on a date with Kelly.
I was like, who?
I was like, oh my God,
Kelly
trying to keep it
Disco
all.
Mommy.
Kelly Disco Mommy has been on a date with him. Kelly is also currently had an on and off thing with Joey that we aren't sure about. We don't know what's going on, but she referenced it at the beginning of the episode where she was like, I don't really know if Joey likes me, so whatever. I'm going all in then on Connor. So with this, with Lynette, who is dating Anthony, and Anthony is also interested in Rebecca, Lynette thinks, oh, maybe this will be off-putting to Anthony, or more than anything, maybe this will make Rebecca and Connor solidify into something. They'll make a stronger connection, and then she'll leave Anthony alone.
Yes, which honestly, I thought was really smart.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, Lynette, you were playing the game right. Up until Anthony's confessional.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like it backfired.
It really does.
To be honest, it made it seem like Anthony was more not jealous, but just like, oh, I wish I got a lap dance, or like,
yeah,
or he felt like Lynette was being a little too territorial, and
did.
Like,
he clearly got annoyed with it because after this, he knocks over the Jenga tower in like frustration.
Yeah.
So like clearly he hated this. He doesn't like that. He felt like Lynette was trying to manipulate the situation, which, oh my God, that's so weird. It's so weird for somebody to try and manipulate you, Anthony.
Yeah.
If that feels so bad, maybe you should stop doing it to people. Anthony's been so manipulative during this that I'm like, oh, you're upset when someone does it to you? Now, I don't think anyone should be manipulated. However,
yeah,
kind of like maybe look inward, buddy. But
yeah, I mean, Lynette could have said like, Anthony, I dare you to go on a date with me, but she was trying to just have Anthony solo.
And it's like, if you have to make another woman unavailable for your man to pick you, that is not your man.
That's not your man.
That's not your man. And I know Lynette knows, but in the time, clearly she is still trying to cling on to this and feel like enough, or, activate that.
Yeah.
So she says yes to this lap dance and goes in on it.
Dude, I thought she was going to do like 2 different positions. She's like all over. I was like, damn, this is a long lap dance, I feel like.
And Anthony is getting jealous and definitely is activating, I think, more of an attachment to her, because now it's like, oh, I'm seeing her with somebody else and you're showing me that I want her. Very much backfiring.
Mm-hmm.
Connor's having a great time.
Connor just made out with someone else, getting a lap dance from a different woman. Oh my gosh, he's having the time of his life, and it's both women he's interested in. So he's winning.
He's winning for sure. Anthony literally does knock over the Jenga tower next and go, "We're done."
Yeah. And everyone's like, all right, everyone, we need a break. Let's break.
Absolutely childish behavior to knock over the Jenga tower like that.
Do you know how annoying it is to put Jenga tower back in its box?
Yeah, right?
Oh my gosh.
And maybe, I will give the slight benefit of the doubt that it is possible. Everybody was like, okay, we're done. And then he knocked it over. But that's not how the editing made it look.
Yeah.
It made it look like because a couple people were like, whoa, what happened? So it seemed like it was not a group decision to end the thing.
Mm-hmm.
They all kind of agreed after it was knocked over, like, clearly we need a break. But, because if somebody just smacked the Jenga tower over, I would also be like, yeah, we do need to take a break right now.
I wonder if that was just, like, an impulsive thought. He was just like,
He was just being a little brat.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, before we continue with the house, let's hop on over to the date with Barbie and Chris.
One last thing from the Truth or Dare that I forgot. When Rebecca is giving the lap dance to Connor, I have a quote from Kelly going, yeah, if I was 5'5", I would do that too.
That's right.
I just didn't want to miss out on that because that's so funny.
What a weird thing to say.
What do you mean?
You could still give this man a lap dance if you're 6 feet. I don't know.
She's like climbing onto his lap. I don't get it. And then you've got like the confessional from Sam being like, yeah, if my woman did that for me, that would show me that she really cares. I'm like, you need therapy. But
I don't know. Your height doesn't do anything different for you when it comes to a lap
I guess
dance.
it was just her like climbing over him is what she was referring to.
Maybe.
But like she said it out loud to the group. This wasn't like in a confessional. No. This was her saying it out loud while it was happening, which was the weirdest, most jealous, like trying to just say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be me if I was 5'5".
That's exactly.
I would do that too.
That's what she does. That's what Disco Mommy does. She just like finds anything to grasp onto, to just hate. To
so
be
weird.
She drinks the haterade.
She does.
She chugs the haterade.
She does. She is drunk on haterade and also alcohol.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At this point, the end of Jenga, they're definitely drunk.
Ooh, they drunk.
These people are drinking.
But speaking of drinking, we've got the date making wine, kind of.
They actually go outside of the house, and we have like a very obvious sponsorship from this winery.
Yeah.
But it's really cute. It obviously looks like a great place.
Yeah, they're set up with a bucket full of grapes, and they're taking each other's shoes off. They love feet.
It's the perfect date for them.
And they're getting into it. They're getting in and squashing.
Yeah.
And they take a little cupful of this fresh juice that they just squashed. Both surprised there's no alcohol taste. That's just grape juice now.
Grape juice.
It is not fermented, which makes wine.
That's literally grape juice, just like with your freaking feet sweat. All your gross feet is.
There was nowhere there for them to wash their feet. They didn't know what the date was. It was a complete surprise. So it wasn't like they could have washed them. They might have showered beforehand, but they might not have.
Yeah.
And you literally see Barbie taking Chris's shoes and socks off.
Yeah.
So like right before they get in, there was no opportunity there for them to go wash their feet.
Yeah, no.
So that means they put those musty ass feet onto those grapes and then just scooped a little shot glass out of that grape juice with like absolute gunk in it.
So I think if I remember correctly, right next to that bucket of grapes is also a table filled with like, I don't know if it was fake fruit or real fruit or
like
whatever.
A wine and cheese.
Yeah, like wines. And I'm pretty sure it was like a wine tasting thing, and that's why they had those little cups there.
Yeah.
But then instead, they decided to take the little cups and just scoop their feet wine. The thing is, Chris was like, are people okay with this? Is how wine's made? Are people okay with this? Just like our feet in this? I'm like, okay, there's a process to where the feet gunk is out of the wine already, and not a lot of people actually do it with their feet anymore.
Right.
A lot of people do because it's like a really fun. It's an experience, but like the ones you're getting at like Target, like those brands, they totally just have like a big factory somewhere that just does it for them.
Oh, 100%. There's no way that's all foot wine.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Not your very popular common brands that you find at Target.
Right. All in all, I will say it looks like they're having a very good time. This is a very sweet date.
Oh, they're having a great time.
They're laughing. They're being silly. They looked cute. They both got very dressed up for it, which is very funny because both of them, like, he had to take off his, like, nice jacket. Barbie is pulling off the, like, I don't know, like, sexy spy, just I'm wearing just kind of a trench coat kind of moment that looks like it doesn't have anything under it. She looks amazing.
So good.
Every time we're just sitting there and she's like doing her like hair and we're just like, God, she looks perfect.
She looks so good.
She looks so good. Chris looks great too. He puts on a good jacket.
That was a really good outfit.
It was a good outfit.
Say, after seeing them in so many like Hawaiian t-shirts, I'm like, thank God.
A real outfit.
It felt nice to actually see.
Yeah, honestly. Really, really cute, super cute date. And we're kind of going back and forth. So like, do we want to stay on the date and kind of get through this next portion of the date, or do you want to go back to the house?
Let's talk a little bit more about the date.
So on this date, after they're finished with squashing the grapes and they sit down, they have a very sweet and vulnerable conversation where Barbie is very honest of being like, I want to be with you outside of the house.
Yes.
Like, I want to be in your life after this. And she says something really cute that's like, I want to be at all of your stupid fights that I'm going to hate. Like, I'm going to hate watching you do that, but I want to be there.
And Chris is agreeing. Chris is like, I also want that. I see you as my woman, you know, like he's saying that he needs the touch of a woman and that he trusts her touch.
Which was a weird way to put it.
Yeah. But it came after a very sweet moment and very vulnerable moment of Barbie.
I also have that he's never heard of I Love Lucy.
Oh, that's right. So basically, I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball. There's like a whole scene where she literally does like the feet line thing. And that was like a big thing. And he has no idea who Lucille Ball was, had no idea what I Love Lucy is. And
we're the same age.
The thing is, we're literally in the same age group as him, and we know what I Love Lucy is.
Everyone knows what I Love Lucy is.
That's the thing. Like, they even tried to say maybe it's the age gap thing, but I just don't think we're in the age range to not know I Love Lucy.
No, that's weird. No, that's weird.
It's like,
that was just weird.
Yeah, maybe to him it was too much of a feminine thing, or maybe he's not a TV guy.
Maybe.
But it's like, that's like a
like
that's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right? Barbie says that it really scares her that her body is going to age before his and that she's afraid of getting old and him leaving her, essentially. And he's like, as long as you let me, I will be there. Like, I'm by your side. And it was very sweet.
It was so sweet that, like, I want to talk about it. There's stuff happening on social media right now.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so sweet in the show. They seem like they're literally boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, they're
100%.
not looking at anybody else.
When they're leaving on the date, it's so relationship-y. Everyone's, like, sending them off, and they're, like, kissing on the way out the door and holding hands.
And it's not, like, kissing, like, love you, babe. It's like, oh, I'm so excited to go on this date with you. Like,
it's so relationship-y.
very romantic. But online is such, like, online currently, right now, in this day and age, it is so different online.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were going to get into it, so I was like, I'm
going to get into it.
Yes.
I'm getting into
so
it.
Clearly they're not together.
No. Barbie has said that she's literally seeing someone right now. I don't know if that's an official boyfriend or she's just dating.
Who knows?
But this man is getting her Gucci. This man is
sending her first class. We love to see that. We love that for her. What we also see is Chris on his Instagram story basically calling Barbie crazy. We see Barbie talking about a whole bunch of things. We've seen Joey taking Chris's side. Yes. Joey being like, oh, when my NDA is up, because I'm not going to break NDA like everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to be, I'm going to have stories to tell and all of these things. The boys are boying.
Yeah.
The boys are boying. And once again, we will reference without getting into that if you are interested in finding out, there are some very serious allegations about Christopher. I will once again only say, I believe women. So everything that we say here when we're like, yeah, it's a cute date, is painted by, I personally, in my opinion, think, screw that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, sure. And again, the show, what we're doing here, we are commenting on the episodes of the show and what is happening there. But our opinion is going to be painted by, like, what's happening. You know what I mean?
Because
like, I can't be like, oh, he looks like he's being sweet and nice here and not be thinking about the fact that, like, there are some monstrous allegations against him.
Unfortunately, we can't ignore even like what they're saying about each other online. Yeah. We can't ignore that.
Right.
However, I am very interested to see a little segue. Interested to see if this like all breaks down in the show.
I'm
or
so
after
curious.
The show.
I have no idea.
Because I'm going to skip a little bit to the preview of next episode. They have a fight. Barbie and Chris have a fight.
And it seems pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's like Barbie's literally like starting to pack her suitcase. So I'm like, did this stem from the show or did they make it to the end?
Right.
And then this happened after the show.
Okay, can I get kind of real here?
Yeah.
The way that we see Barbie crying in this preview, and again, we are skipping way ahead. There's more episode, we promise. And there's like some wild shit still gonna happen. The way that we see Barbie crying and so distressed in this, as somebody who hasn't been very emotional throughout this series, and the way that she's saying like, he is like a different person than he was yesterday, like activated something in me as somebody who has been in like really, really toxic or abusive relationships that was like, oh, this is very real and it's very scary. And it was so just like heart-wrenching to listen to because like whatever the way he was sort of responding to her activated, like, I don't know, there's just a thing that I think a lot of like women who date men in relationships will recognize on Barbie from being in those situations where you're like, oh, that's bad. Like what you've just activated in her and the like sheer like shock and devastation and confusion that can only come from like something so big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the confusion of it all.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like so many people have been there where it's like, I don't understand how I could have been so wrong about somebody.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this could be such a different person than they seemed to be.
Yeah.
Is like what we see in it. And she's like starting to pack her things as if she's going to leave.
But I'm also excited to see what that even stemmed from because he said it's something she said to him or about him.
He's literally pouting under a blanket and is like, I just felt very disrespected by what you said out there. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, she goes, oh, I just like in a confessional, she's like, he's different. I don't like being treated this way and stuff.
Yeah.
So, oh my God.
That's next episode.
Yeah. Like, and also like, I guess it makes sense for like even if you break up in a TV show for things to come back up as the show is airing, and that's why things are happening online.
Right.
So it's exciting for me to see if it does happen in the show or not.
And I'm just like, in the same way that Joey keeps inserting himself into the drama on the show, he is also inserting himself into the drama on social media. There was a like Instagram channel that he created to talk about MILF Manor, which is like only kind of, honestly, there wasn't a lot to it. It was kind of promo, honestly.
Yes, which is smart.
Which was originally run with him and Barbie. And then for some reason, now again, fellas, is it gay to believe a woman? What a choice we've gotten into here. Because here's the thing, Joey. You don't have to like Barbie. That's okay. Like, it's totally okay to not like Barbie. You don't have to. I don't know what went on, but you guys don't even seem like you'd get along. That makes sense.
You know, that's true.
You don't seem like you'd get along.
But I've seen them in photos of them working out together. We've seen that. They posted it.
Barbie and
I think so.
Joey?
I think so.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Maybe I'm like confused. Oh, maybe it was like Miles and Chris or something.
Maybe, I don't remember.
I'm confusing people.
So here's the thing. They were running this channel together, and then when everything started going down and the fight on social media started happening between Barbie and Chris, he removed Barbie from it, or Barbie left it by choice, I think, and added Chris. And here's the thing. If I can just give a piece of unsolicited advice to any man in this scenario, somebody that you know, a man, is accused of something horrible. Don't double down.
Yeah.
Simply at least hang back and let it see how things go. But he can't help himself.
Yeah.
And he does it on the show. But he also can't help himself after the show.
Yeah.
But like, hey, what if you didn't? Here's what I'll just say. It's a risky side to pick. It's a risky side to pick when you didn't have to pick any side. You know what I mean?
You can still be there for your friend and not double down.
And not double down when someone's accused of being very, very bad. It's a bold choice because big if true, if it comes out that this was completely factual and he did the things that he is being accused of, maybe just consider what you've done.
And also, if it's somehow not true, that means you still doubled down on like a friend and you chose not to like look into like whatever happened in that scenario.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like
because I know you don't know. I know you weren't there.
You know?
I know you've got Chris's account of it.
Yeah.
Sure. Most men who do awful things say they didn't. Most people who do awful things say they didn't do an awful thing. Nobody's like, yes, I did commit the crime. Right? Anyways.
You're not going to murder someone and be like, yeah, I murdered him.
Right, exactly. Duh. So, I don't know. But he said he didn't. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet he did. Anyways, back to the house.
Okay, so this is after Don't Drop the Tower, Truth or Dare game. People are like going their separate ways, going into like the rooms, getting ready to sleep. Some people are still in the kitchen. Some people are still in the living room. But our girl, Rebecca.
God, Rebecca is so drunk.
She needs to go to bed.
She needs like everybody who isn't at Rebecca's level right now needs to be like, ooh, that girl needs to be put to bed.
Like, everyone who's seeing people who are obviously drunk, can you, like, help them to bed?
Right.
Or, like, get them a glass of water instead of whatever atrocity went down in the kitchen?
And I don't know how drunk Anthony is.
I don't know
and
either.
I hope for his sake that he is also drunk here.
Me too.
Because if he isn't, he's being a creep.
Yeah.
And that's a big, big deal. She is so drunk that she's like stumbling around and like leaning over counters, and he's like getting behind her into like a sexual position and like rubbing her back, but like kind of under the guise, just kind of like as an excuse to like be behind her.
Yeah. It's really weird because everyone is still not everyone, but a lot of people are still in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they're just like choosing to ignore whatever's happening at the kitchen island, which is literally Rebecca bent over.
She is bent over the kitchen island and being like, "Oh, that feels so good." And he's giving her a massage.
It's not, to me, it doesn't even look like a massage. It just kind of looks like you're like taking their waist or like their upper back and you're just like pinching. You're like, yeah.
Right?
Like, that's not what's happening there. You know exactly what both of you are doing.
100%. Why are you doing it in the kitchen?
Yeah, I just, like you said, I hope they're both drunk.
God, I hope they're both drunk. Because he doesn't come across as drunk as she did. That's for sure. And that is significant.
Yeah. Or he's better at like holding his liquor / hiding the liquor. You know what I mean?
Totally possible. But he does not seem as out of it as she does in this, in what we can see.
His son, Joey's literally in the kitchen and he's just like trying to ignore it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like watching that. And he once again says, he's like, look, we are here to do this. I don't think there's anything wrong with exploring your options. But again, I do think that Lynette is better for my dad. I think she's more mature. I think all of these things. But Anthony doesn't seem to care.
No.
But Anthony doesn't seem to care about anything.
Who walks into the kitchen? Lynette literally sees them doing the whole like weird bent over massage thing and she's over it. She's over it.
As she should be over it. It's so weird.
It's so fucking weird.
It's like, it's disrespectful. It's messy. It's disgusting. It's like to do so in her face, unacceptable.
Yeah.
And then Anthony leads Rebecca to the Realfie room.
I didn't know how that even started or why they even went there. He called it the boom boom room, by the way.
Okay, here's what I think happened. Are you ready?
Yes.
And I don't have the facts to back this up, but here's what I think happened. I think he was like, I'm totally going to get laid. She's so in and so drunk. Maybe he's just as drunk, right? But he's thinking it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to get the boom boom room. And he like kind of lays her down, but she has this like playful, kind of childish, like, no, like I'm not done.
Yeah,
I'm still partying.
Out. Yeah.
And I think that he was trying to sleep with her and she was like, no, I still want to party.
It makes no sense to me because the door was so wide open.
Yeah.
So like maybe he was like testing it and then we get the shot of like him closing
taking
the door.
her to bed.
No.
Like to her bed where she could have gone to sleep.
He literally said the boom boom room.
Yeah. So I think he was trying to make it happen and she was like, no, I still want to party. And like got back up because you can see her like roll back off of the bed and like lead back out into the kitchen where other people are, where everybody is like trying not to look. And honestly, like, look, she is making a little bit of a drunk fool out of herself. But like, just because not everybody is on that level, where it is clear that she's like, I don't know, she's just doing a lot.
Yeah. And we also see Lynette, like, she's obviously wants to see what her man's doing. You know what I mean? So she like looks, she like looks into the room and it looks really sus. It's literally she's laying on the bed. Anthony's like bending over her.
And that's when he says,
he literally says, we're going to get the boom boom room.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot what she said.
She goes, oh, hell no, I'm not dealing with that.
She like looks
to
at
the camera, Spike's camera directly and is like, no, I am not dealing with that. Absolutely not. And like walks back out of there. And so much is happening over the next few minutes here.
It's wild.
Rebecca is still so drunk, up running around, and Connor is like, let's go to the hot tub. And Rebecca's like, let's go to the hot tub.
Like, can we be naked?
She goes, oh my God, can we go nude?
Yeah.
And then I have written down here as a note, I'm going to get my bikini on. Because that's how she says it so drunk. That's how you know how absolutely intoxicated it is. She goes, I'm going to get my bikini on.
Dude, there's
no vowels in there.
There's way more people who are also slurring their words, and it makes me scared.
Crystal is also slurring her words and incredibly drunk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Crystal and Stacy have a whole talk.
Yeah, Crystal kind of confronts Stacy, but it doesn't feel like it got anywhere.
No, it was both of them being like, "Are you like?" It's not gonna happen. Oh, I just got out of a marriage. Oh, I'm interested in you. I have to, and then it's Crystal in a confessional saying she just needs to figure out if she should still pursue Stacy, or pursue someone else. Which begs the question: who else is she gonna pursue?
Well,
and I thought Darren, because of the second episode where they went to the bar.
I think there's no way.
I think there's not enough time in the show for her to pursue someone else.
And Darren is so booed up.
Darren is so booed up.
That's
the only person I remember her being interested in.
I would say, okay, so currently, I would say David is still pretty on the market.
Yeah.
And because David's newer to the house, it's possible that they could still have a connection. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Darren is totally taken. There's not a lot of men here. There's clearly way more women.
Yeah.
Anthony is a hell disaster. Joey, I just don't see Crystal having really an interest in. Sam is on the table, but the relationship doesn't seem, to be romantic. So I would say David would be my guess if there was going to be somebody who's already in the house. But
hear me out. There are also more women who are single. Crystal.
Once again, we're just saying everybody.
You'd be so much happier, probably.
God, I think most women would.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these women that are tired of dealing with these men could maybe just, I think Christina, if she didn't have a lot of internalized misogyny, I think would probably really enjoy women.
Oh, for sure. I think so too.
So, Crystal is slow blinking while having this conversation with Stacy, one at a time.
Take her to bed, get her a glass of water.
Now, Rebecca goes to the hot tub with Connor, and they're...
We just thought it was with more people, because it seemed like an open invite.
Yeah, but it's just the two of them. And they're talking, they're chatting, whatever, and they start making out.
Oh, it's hardcore making out.
Yeah.
She's making out, and then she gets on top of him.
Yeah.
And it's pretty sexy, I will say.
Yeah.
Super sexy.
Yeah. They seem like they're connecting pretty well. They were having a nice conversation beforehand. She seems to be a little less drunk. She seems like, I don't know how much time has passed, but it does seem like she's kind of come down a little bit.
Yes.
And Kelly, Disco Mommy Kelly with an E, starts rounding up people in the house, going, let's go, come on, everybody, outside, let's go see this. Because she has noticed that they have gone to the hot tub together and seen that they were making out there, and she has to cause an absolute spectacle of it for some reason, like the weirdo that she is. She rounds up everybody, and nobody wants to do this, so just Christina goes.
Which is so funny, because I feel like Christina didn't go out there for the drama. She walked out and goes, don't slip, okay? It's like she was taking care of Kelly. That's what it felt like to me.
I feel like Christina's absolutely in it for the drama, because she did the same thing when Kelly did it to Jamie.
That's true.
This is literally I feel like you could have reused footage of these two scenes in the way that she went about it, because she did the same thing where she rounded up people in the house for the witch hunt.
Let's go.
Let's go. And then walked out there and was like, you can't be doing this to people who are sitting down. It is an identical scene. It really is. If somebody wrote this into a movie, somebody would be like, you can't write the same scene twice. That's so weird.
And that's exactly what happened here.
It is. She literally, as she's walking out, goes, catch me outside. How about that?
I love the reference. It's so funny. It's the same energy. It's the same kind of wildness. I think it's so funny that made it into the show.
She is doing the exact same thing that she did to Jamie. She is confronting Rebecca about this. Now, mind you, Anthony is inside sleeping. And instead of confronting Anthony about being a player, she confronts Rebecca for being, in her words, a hoe bag. God, are we 10 years old?
Yeah.
My God. She confronts her and she's like, what are you doing, bitch? You should, you can't be over everyone's man and whatever. And Rebecca's like, I'm not.
Rebecca was so respectful.
I couldn't believe we were talking about this, about how we would have handled this situation. So here's the situation, right? You've got you've got Kelly coming storming out in her leather pants and weird like crop top combo, coming out to call you a hoe bag, a bitch, calling you names nonstop, saying all of these things. You're on everybody's man. Like, you only wanted him because you saw him kiss me.
Yeah.
Mind you, the kiss was a dare.
Oh my gosh, that was
He didn't
wild.
even kiss her by choice. It was a dare.
We'll come back to this.
But we were talking about how we would have handled this.
Okay, my way is to feel like I won after they walk away or I walk away.
Yeah.
As in, like, I want them to keep thinking about the conversation for days, thinking about what they could have done or said differently because they know they lost. And that is like kind of like lawyering up, you know?
Yeah.
Like asking the right questions but remaining so calm.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Here's how I am when I'm angry. You get a good while of concerning calm, right?
Yeah.
When somebody is fighting, I'm like, oh no, I'm not engaging. And then you get Monday Night Raw, dude. Like, you get SmackDown. I would have absolutely beat her ass. I'm so sorry. And I just, look, I say this all the time. Sometimes violence is the answer. And I really do think people don't think enough about the way that they use their words. And people sometimes just aren't afraid enough of getting hit.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes people are just not afraid enough and have not been checked. Where it's like, yeah, you are doing an act of violence to her. Like, I really do think the things that she is doing are so harmful, so aggressive that it's just like, girl, you need to be more afraid of getting absolutely beat. You need to be afraid of like another woman absolutely beating your ass for treating her like shit and being disrespectful.
Listen, Saige and I did the punching arcade game. We can punch.
Yeah.
Saige can punch.
And will. I'm just saying, like, Rebecca was so calm and she kept just being like, I'm not actually with every man in the house. That's actually not what's happening. And nope, I'm just out here with Connor. I don't think that I'm doing anything wrong. I am exploring and getting to know people. She's being so calm. And I'm just like, you would have had a few minutes of that before I started speaking.
Yeah. And Disco Mommy was like trying to name people. She was like, no, you're with everybody. You're getting everyone's way. You're like trying to get with Connor. You're trying to get with Auntie. You're like, and blah, 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 and blah. And I'm like, oh, you can't even name a third person.
She literally couldn't name a third person because there is no third person. And here's the thing. These two men are actively pursuing her. If these men were not pursuing her and she was just throwing herself at these men, I would understand being upset. I would be like, whoa. Hey, these people are, clearly in a relationship and you're throwing yourself at them. That's literally not what's happening. Both of these men are very actively and very publicly and very transparently pursuing Rebecca. But of course, no, we're not going to make an excuse.
Yeah.
We're not going to blame the man. We're going to blame the woman and make excuses for the man. Christina, in all of her confessionals, is talking about how, like, oh, well, men, they just, like, whatever, and, like, it's not girl energy. Again, Christina.
Like, making excuses for men's behavior.
Yeah.
But, like, oh, yeah, and Christina even was like, there are a couple of women that are upset with you.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to add that in there.
She came to stand out there in her glasses just to watch the drama, and she was like, there are quite a few women in there that are really upset with you.
I'm just going to put that out there.
I'm just like, it's this thing where it's like, oh my God, I almost respect somebody more for throwing down than for, like, being in the situation where they're like, I really don't get involved in drama. Like, I don't like to.
Yeah.
I would never.
But here are my 2 cents that, like, equates to basically the same amount of drama that's
But I'm
happening
out
right
here
now.
supporting this woman, absolutely tearing you apart,
being
awful. Like, Kelly is being awful to Rebecca, absolutely vile to Rebecca here. It is unbelievable how rude this woman feels comfortable being. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by people just need to get checked. I saw a video the other day of like a barista in a drive-thru at a like little local coffee shop, and the man was screaming at her and threw 2 drinks at her. She brings out a hammer, smashes his window.
I've seen that. I saw that.
She smashes his window because she was like, people are just not afraid of the consequences of their actions.
No.
And I'm like, that's exactly it. That's exactly the energy that these people need, where it's like, it is clear by your comfort doing this that, like, nobody has checked you. And it doesn't have to be by punching. Personally, I'd have knocked her out. But no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No, she wouldn't.
But I would never. But you know what I mean? I'm just saying, if somebody comes at me like that, there's just, I make no promises. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to try not to, but I make no promises. And I really am just like, wow. And again, she's Orange County. I grew up in Orange County. I know an Orange County old blonde white lady. Like, I know this energy. And, like, you have never experienced a consequence for your actions.
Probably
and
not.
You know that that's how she talks to waitresses.
Absolutely.
You know that it is. You know that she's mean to service workers. You can just tell.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, ooh, nobody's ever checked you.
I feel like if she were to come at someone else with that energy, like a friend of mine who's like timid or something, I think that's when I would get like, sometimes violence does solve solve things, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But like for me, I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't need to, but I will defend my friend. You know, if that means like,
I feel that.
You know?
I feel that very much because you know where it switches for me is it's like you're no longer just being mean to me. You're being a bad woman.
Yes.
That's where it would activate for me, even for myself, of like, no, you keep using these like incredibly gendered insults. You're being harmful to the general population of women at this point. That's where it activated for me. And like even in watching the episode where it switched from like, oh, you're being really mean to this girl who hasn't, in my opinion, done anything wrong to no, you're being bad to women now. Like you have turned a corner of like Rancid that is like, you can tell my energy is very different about her now because I'm like, oh, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
And like,
she so crazy that she even's like, she's like, I'm never gonna, I don't actually, never mind. I'm moving on to, Kelly starts walking away.
Yeah.
And Connor says, oh, I guess I made the right decision.
Ooh.
And Kelly's like, obviously still near is like, yeah, you made the right decision.
You know what Connor says to her before that?
Huh?
He goes, I thought you were all about positive energy, Kelly.
Oh, that's right.
And she goes, I am about positive energy. She is not positive energy. And she's literally, again, here screaming, calling names. Nobody in the hot tub is yelling back at her. They're so calm.
Everyone
And she's here like yelling in her ill-fitting pants. I'm sorry. I'm angry. But she's like here yelling.
Yeah.
And like calling names and all of these things, calling her all of this horrible stuff.
Yeah.
And like, but like, yeah, this is positive energy. That's not positive energy. You are unwell. you are unwell at this point.
Wants to win.
Yeah.
And to her, whoever's the loudest wins.
Yeah.
You know, if you can storm off angry, that means you chose when to do that on your own. And you won.
Yeah.
You storm off angry, you win.
Sure.
Like, that's not how it works.
Imagine yelling, this is positive energy. She's not positive energy. And you're not processing a single one of those words, Miss Ma'am. And this is what I mean by it does seem like Rebecca has sobered up a good bit at this point because she is handling it so calmly. They get out of the hot tub after they storm back inside. And once again, Kelly and Christina have become this kind of like duo where they're standing up at the banister watching them come in. And they're like, oh, we don't want her to see that we're up here watching.
Which I think is so funny because obviously it's like a cameraman. Yeah. And to look up at the banister, you have to look up at the camera with this.
They're going to know you're there.
I don't think it was one of like the corner cameras.
No, it wasn't.
It was definitely someone with a shoulder rig like this.
So funny.
So obviously they're going to know you're up on the second floor.
And Kelly is just like an absolute, I don't know, gargoyle up there.
There's a little bit more though. Before Connor and Rebecca went inside, Kelly's like talking shit inside and Darren is there. And that's when Kelly's like, he literally kissed me and now they're like making out, or you know what I mean? And Connor they're still just like out there. It's not even about them. But everyone's like, yeah, that's so weird, blah blah blah. But Darren's like, well, she can come in and have a connection with two guys.
She just got to the house and it's just two people and Darren does defend her.
Yeah. And Darren's like, yeah, he kissed you because it was a dare. And
it was. Like, because she's doing the same thing that like Jacob was doing where it's like, she was just kissing me on the beach.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is even worse because it was literally in truth or dare.
It was a dare. Like, he didn't get up and choose to kiss you because he's interested in you.
No, you had your friend dare him to kiss you.
Insane. And like, at first, Kelly thought Darren was on her side until Darren was like, you don't have an argument here.
No.
You know, like, she's new here.
Right.
And even Shauna had a confessional that's like, Rebecca is not the villain here. She's not the bad guy.
Yes.
Like, they're new. They can date. And it's also like two men who are pursuing her.
Yep.
And also, like, That's it. It's just the two men, you know?
Yeah. When Kelly walked away from the hot tub, she goes, "See you never, bitch." I'm like, you're going to see each other in 30 seconds inside this house. You currently live together.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
You know?
Just trying to get the, like, punchline in. You know what I mean? Trying to get the last word, no matter how nonsensical it is.
Cut to Christina and Kelly on the second floor, and Rebecca and Connor coming in. They're just like, you know, whatever. It's fine. Everything's fine. And then it's just they continue the fight.
They're yelling over the banister. Kelly is, like, continuing to yell at her. Rebecca, once again, not yelling. Rebecca says something that I think was so smart and so calm, which is, "I am not this kind of person, and you're not going to bring it out of me."
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
that
good.
was good. That was good. Yes, girl. And it's true. She does not successfully bring it out of her. Kelly keeps yelling how she only wants Connor because Connor was with her.
So weird. What a weird thing to say. Who cares about that? You're on a dating show, and she's talking to, like, two people who are pursuing her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't pursue these guys.
Yeah. Which is so weird because Kelly, who also came in late, mind you.
Yes.
Kelly, who came in late, was also trying to stir up matches. And then, like, Connor also came in late.
Yes.
So it's like, whoa, what are we doing? Why are we so detached from the reality of the situation here?
There was, like, a moment Kelly was like, "You're, like, betraying," or not betraying. She's just like, it's like you're, I guess, betraying.
Yeah, you betrayed me and Christina and
Lynette. And she's like, "What did I do to Christina?
Literally,
I didn't do anything to Christina." Was there a problem with Christina?
Who is Christina interested in that list?
And, like, mind you, Christina had a freaking date with David. But what happened with that afterwards?
No idea. And mind you, Rebecca has also done nothing with David. I guess he was there in the sauna, but David was very specific to say nothing happened there. We just went to the sauna.
Like, we are literally just catching some steam.
So it's like, no, she did absolutely nothing, to any of these women, but especially to Christina.
And then they're talking about specifically Lynette and Anthony. And we find out that Lynette is literally trying to sleep. Yeah. And that everyone in the house can hear this fight, obviously.
And it's got to be so heart-wrenching to hear people, like, talking about you in that way.
Yes.
It's got to be so sad because, like, you got to know that Kelly is being unhinged. But, like, yeah, and, like, look what you did to Lynette. And, like, hearing that is so much. That's so overwhelming and so scary and so awful and so sad to be, like, the spectacle of this, that they're, like, using Lynette's pain for this fight.
Yes.
That, like, has nothing to do with her. That, like, has nothing to do with Kelly at this point. You know what I mean? Kelly isn't even, like, seriously involved in Connor. They went on one date that was, like, the auto date at the beginning, basically. And he has since rejected her, and nothing else has happened between them.
Yeah, the only thing that's happened that I can think of is, like, him sending that weird laundry room sex to her.
Yeah.
That's, like,
after she chose him for, like, the image challenge. Hold for that very loud noise. Super fucking weird. I don't like it at all. But Lynette gets up and, listening to the fighting, just starts packing her things.
Yeah, she's over it. She doesn't need this. She doesn't need to be reminded of how she feels about how Anthony made her feel.
Yeah.
This is not Rebecca's fault.
No.
This is Anthony's fault for whatever's about to happen, which is literally Lynette leaving. She leaves.
So we get kind of, like, a lot of cutting back and forth here. We get Lynette packing her things. We get the girl fighting. In the living room. We have Darren sitting with Rebecca, just kind of, like, comforting her and, like, keeping an eye on her and being very respectful. We have Joey inserting himself into everything. He, like, runs upstairs and is standing next to Kelly, but not doing anything either. He's also not, like, defending anybody or doing anything about it. He's just standing and inserting himself. And then we have Lynette come out, let everybody know that she's like, I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. I have a great life back home. I don't want to be here anymore.
She's like, I have a great car. I have a great family. I have a great career.
I have great kids.
I do not need the stress of this. She does not need to feel this way. She does not need anything of this.
Absolutely not.
We freaking support.
100%. Unfortunately, this does devolve into just a really sad scene of her being like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to open myself up. And Joey is just there watching it. And to some extent, you do see, like, in the confessional, him being like, I feel responsible to, like, do something here because this is something my father did to her.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope that this was a moment for Joey of like, hey, don't become this kind of man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't become your father. See this as an example. And like, you had to firsthand sit and watch a woman sob in another woman's arms about how devastated she was by your father's actions that were so harmful and so inconsiderate and like so cruel.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to some extent that this was like, I don't know, like a little bit of a brain chemistry changing moment of like, you can do better. Don't do this. You have to see this happen and be like, oh my God, because usually you wouldn't see the aftermath of a situation like this. And like you saw it firsthand. I hope that stuck with you. I hope that makes you do better in the future than Anthony did.
I hope, because all those thoughts of his came out during a confessional.
Yeah.
And I just hope that like in the middle of filming, in the moment of, he just didn't want to be part of the drama. He actually like felt like he had a responsibility.
I hope
and
that
he just
that
like
is the case.
made that up for the confessional. But even if he did like make that up for the confessional, or that's like actually what he was thinking in the moment,
which I
like.
I don't know if it worked considering the way he's acting with Chris right now, but
it felt like he was there for Lynette, but in a sense of more so being there for his father.
Yeah.
Like he was saying how like Lynette is so great for his father. He feels responsible for Lynette staying because she is like so like, I don't know, she's great for people. She really cares about people. And like, I think she's better for my father than Rebecca.
Right.
And I'm like, are you trying to get her to stay because you want her with your father instead of doing what's best for Lynette?
Right.
Do you think it's better for Lynette to leave or better for Lynette to be with your father? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Are you factoring in her as a person?
Yeah.
And not
or just
as something for your dad?
Yeah. Like as like a girlfriend who can better your father.
Exactly.
You know, like I feel like I hope you're right, and that there was like a spark of chemistry that changed things for him.
And he's in the room the whole time as she's packing her bags. Kelly, with an E, is the one comforting her, and she's just sobbing and very, very sad. But there is a much more hopeful tone in Lynette's confessional of her being like, no, I did learn that I can be vulnerable here, and I will.
Yes.
But unfortunately, when she's crying in the house, she's just like, I'm never going to be able to do this again. Like, I am not wired to like be vulnerable like this and have this happen.
There was like a moment she said, this is not working out for her, not because she doesn't deserve it, but because she's not capable of it. And that like really like hurt to hear. Like I feel so sad. Like I just think Lynette is a great person, and like she doesn't even deserve to feel like she's not capable of something.
Right.
I feel like that has to do with just like how fucking men have treated her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And, you know, Lynette actually commented on our last video and was talking about some of the comments that she had made about Rebecca and, like, owning up really, like, maturely to being like, yes, that was totally internalized misogyny and insecurity showing.
Yes.
And that's why, too, every time we've broached that topic on this of it being like, this house is designed to make you crazy.
100%.
What they are doing is designed to make people act so absurd. And some go a lot further than others, Kelly. But it makes sense that it is bringing out like the worst in a lot of people, but everyone's worst is different. So I
you can
see
tell
it, and I
Lynette's
understand.
a good person. No.
Kelly, look, once somebody has even just by season 1, I would never say that about Kelly personally. I don't think I have any reason to believe that, but I was willing to come back to like a neutral even on Kelly.
Yeah.
But I'm
kind of
way back around. This episode was so wild. It definitely did, where I was just like, I put myself in Rebecca's shoes and it was like, oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely not. And I'm not saying something, I want to be very clear when I say, I don't think something violent should have happened to Kelly in this episode. I don't think Rebecca should have done that. I'm saying if Kelly did that to me, I would have. I'm not saying it should have happened. I'm not saying that Kelly should be hurt. I don't think that's the case. I'm saying if Kelly did that to me, I would beat somebody.
Yeah. No, we actually think Rebecca handled it with such grace.
So correct. So much class and grace. 100%. That was the correct thing to do.
Just know Saige would throw hands.
I am unhealed. And
I've never been in a fight. Fight, like a physical fight. I've been like in like a situation where like pushing each other, just like, no, like get away from me. But it's never turned into like grabbing hair and like,
I haven't in a very long time. I haven't since I was like a teenager.
Yeah, that's when that happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Right.
When there are consequences now to doing that as an adult. So.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it doesn't come up. I don't find myself in situations where like that's going to be the case.
No, we put ourselves in really good circles.
Exactly. So,
but when you're in a reality show, that circle's broken.
I couldn't go on a reality show. Like, here's the thing. If you create the circumstances, I am in so much therapy. Yeah. If you create the circumstances to drive me crazy, I'm already crazy. Like, I couldn't.
So funny.
I couldn't. Not for me. I'd go to jail.
Yeah. I'm closer to punching men in like bars than just like catfighting with women.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%. I think I would go my whole life without ever even feeling the need to get in a fight with a woman.
Yeah. No, yes.
Right?
Absolutely. But
that's
for some
unlikely.
Reason,
Kelly was a little bit of an exception to that in this one.
Yeah.
But like,
for some reason, there's something about like men like encroaching on like your personal space that makes me already want to fucking clock you.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Like
100%.
Jesus Christ. I saw a video. This is so off topic, but it's like two girls at a concert.
Yeah.
And
I saw this. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like to a song, right?
Yeah.
And like the video is like this girl who's like, this guy has like nonstop been touching me.
Yes.
And like the perfect moment of the song, she turns around and just punches him right in the jaw.
And it's like such a funny angle because you can just see her facing forward dancing, so you don't even see her interact with the guy.
Yes.
You just see the guy dance up on her, and literally like as the beat drops, like crazy, she just turns around and absolutely clocks him.
And like the friend in the front's the one like selfie recording. So she's like, what is happening? And that's what I think I would do in a situation like that, which I close to have done, but I just like don't punch people. It's more like like shoving them away.
I punched somebody at a concert.
Oh my gosh. Dang.
And he deserved it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like people who deserve it, which is mostly men who are being real creeps to you, who have touching you without consent. I don't know, you can punch them.
I mean, and for legal reasons, all of that was a joke.
All of it was such a joke. You should never put hands on anybody. And you should let people with authority do I don't know. You know what? Just like don't put your hands on people. I'll just stop there.
Here's the thing. You're a lot less likely to get punched at a concert if you just keep your hands off everybody.
You just keep your hands to yourself.
Right.
All you need to do.
Once you have broken the social contract of keeping your hands off of me, well, that's a different story. Anyway,
what happens in this preview? What happens in this preview?
Oh my God. So one of the first things that we see in this preview is that 2 new men are coming.
And we actually kind of see one of their faces. If you like pause at that preview, you know exactly what that man looks like.
There's only 3 episodes left.
How are there new men?
Why are we bringing so many new people in this season?
I mean, it's good for Crystal, I guess, because now she has like more opportunities.
I guess.
But like, what's going on? Like I feel like there's not enough time for anything.
There's not enough time to make a connection with these people. Again, good for Crystal, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, also, I'm just kind of like, what are we doing here? I don't know.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? The season just feels kind of messy. Not in like the contestants, but in like the production of it feels a little messy.
Yeah.
A little unorganized in the way they're going about it. They just keep throwing new spaghetti at the wall.
I think it's a better season than last season.
It's more interesting.
It's more interesting. I think it's a better format. You know?
Yeah.
But I just don't think we need this many new people.
Yeah.
Look at our board. It's already suffering.
Right? Got 3 people down here under the couch. We have so many people up here. We are, I mean, pretty outnumbered right now.
Yeah, we're going to have to put them like where this heart is or something.
I know. The board's just going to keep growing unless.
It doesn't need to.
Unless.
People get.
Do you think people will go home again?
3 episodes away from the finale. Or not even 2 episodes and then finale? I don't know.
So in this preview is where we saw the thing that we talked about earlier, which was the fight between Christopher and Barbie. You see Christopher pouting under a blanket. You see Barbie is her reaction, packing her stuff. So it's possible that Barbie could end up leaving next episode. I genuinely have no idea. It would be wild to have 2 people leave by the actions of men.
Yes.
In back-to-back episodes.
Yes.
I would love to see Kelly leave. I really would love to see Disco Mommy leave at this point. But I just feel like it's like you've driven 2 women out of the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, because it is her fault that Lynette like had that like last like final straw of leaving. Now it is Anthony's fault
for just this was manipulating
that was
her.
Horrible. And I do think all in all, this is obviously Anthony's fault. But I do think that she just came in and made it worse.
Anthony was sleeping that entire time, by the way.
I just keep cutting back to him dead asleep. I can't believe nobody woke him up.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that nobody woke him up when Lynette was leaving.
I'm glad nobody did, because then he just would have used his tactics to make her stay.
Yeah.
And which would have been awful for Lynette.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Yeah. But I'm surprised Joey didn't, like, go wake him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not even saying
like,
he should have. I'm just surprised
leaving.
that isn't what the like, instinct was to do. I think it would be mine in that situation to be like, hey, Lynette is literally leaving.
Yeah. Well, at least he's sound enough to know that like that could have been a bad situation.
It could have been a bad situation, but like in that scenario, it's like maybe he should at least apologize. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe he did and we just didn't see it. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of it next episode, like beginning of next episode.
So what they show us in the preview and what they're implying right now is that he is just having a good time, moved on. It doesn't seem like he cares at all. And they like, you know, I'm sure that's the editing of the preview, them trying to make it look like he has simply just moved on and basically immediately forgotten about Lynette, which like I don't love. We see the preview of other men coming in, and I think that's pretty much it for the preview. The fight, the new men.
I think so.
Anthony moving on.
Yeah. I don't remember anything else.
Next episode.
Yes. Oh, that makes me so... You know what? No, actually, I don't want Lynette to stay for these new men because they're probably horrible too.
Yeah.
So.
I know. That's kind of the thing. We don't want like a perfect match situation where somebody is just staying in the house to try and like make someone else jealous.
Oh, man. Perfect match.
Are y'all watching Perfect Match as well? Let us know.
Yeah.
We are truly, our consumption of reality shows is so in sync. We're so in sync.
We started Perfect Match literally on the same day.
Coincidentally.
To the same episode, like ended on the
Watched
same episode.
Watched the same amount of episodes in the day. And we were watching it like the same time last night.
No, literally. Yeah, because she was like, Saige was like, I'm at the end of episode 2. I'm like, I literally just started episode 3. Like,
so funny. I literally texted her yesterday and I was like, I started Perfect Match. And you're like, I also started Perfect Match. And I was like, and we both watched 4 episodes of Perfect Match yesterday.
Yeah. I just saw like a thing saying the finale happened. I was like, it's finally time. I don't have to wait for it to drop.
I just keep getting like people from the show reacting to it.
Oh, yes.
It's one of those things that people are talking about a lot right now where they're talking about how they kind of miss when there wasn't like as much social media from the contestants that were all kind of spoiling things.
Which is kind of like similar to this show, to MILF Manor. Like we're seeing a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
And even like post, even if it's not happening in the show. It's like, whoa.
But seeing that people are dating other people and all of these things where you're like, oh, well, it's clear then that this doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And like in one situation that's very clear because you want to make it clear you're not with somebody who, you know, has maybe done something terrible. But in general, a lot of people are criticizing the like Netflix universe shows for doing that because the people are like, all trying to become influencers after.
Absolutely.
And they're all making all of the content around it. But I kept getting Jessica's content and stuff like that from Perfect Match. But we're really enjoying this season of Perfect Match.
Me too. It's so good.
Perfect Match is already over?
Yes. Isn't that insane?
I know. I'm like, I wish we had time to even just do like a 1-episode recap here.
Yeah. We could do it. We could do it after MILF Manor.
Yeah, maybe. If you're interested, let us know. Let us know if you're keeping up and watching. I also know a lot of you literally don't watch reality TV and you just came here to hang out with us. And we love that and appreciate it. If you want to hang out with us even more, you can join us for our watch-alongs in the Discord. I really enjoy it because it helps people stay caught up on the show. I love getting your thoughts throughout, seeing the things. Sometimes you point out something that I might have even missed, which is really nice. It is free to join. The link is in the description below if you are listening on the podcast form. I don't think the link is there. Go look on YouTube. I don't know.
Take a look.
I don't really know. The podcast notes makes it a little harder to click links. But the Discord is free to join, and you can jump in. We do it on Sundays at 7 o'clock. You can live watch along with us and give us your thoughts on it. Also, again, hey, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We have the link in the description below of the channel that you should really subscribe to, which is the new channel. That is Pixel Pop Culture. I haven't decided. I'm going to edit around what I decide on which this is going out on. I think it's still going out on the original channel for right now because I just want to give people ample time to know
absolutely.
And like subscribe and move over. But also I'm like, we should be over there to be moving people. More people will move when an episode is there. So I don't know. Anyways, subscribe to the channel and hey, leave us a comment. Let us know about any of these things. What you thought about today's episode. If you just think that we're cool and neat and nice. If you think that we should probably be hosts of future reality TV shows. Let us and maybe some executives know.
If you know any.
And you should go and follow Kendelle. Where?
You can find me everywhere on socials at Kendelle Lynn, doing like theme park content. Also like it's going to change the people content.
I love it.
You know, I appreciate Saige for just letting me on Pixel Circus a lot, so that's really nice. Saige, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige and here on Pixel Circus all the time, both live on Twitch and on YouTube. And Pixel Circus is just the people that show up here. So you are Pixel Circus. Get used to it.
Yeah, we called each other like Pixel Pals.
Yeah.
I'm a Pixel Pal.
Oh, little pals. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. If you want more stuff, go to patreon.com/Pixel Circus. And Daddy's out.